You guys got to see what I just found. Those rock sliders for the Liberty. So I'm digging through my old man's junk pile. Look what I found. These guys screaming rock sliders? It's like a weight rack or something. Someone must have dropped off in my dad's iron pile. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think I should chop those babies up and make rock sliders out of them? I think we can make pretty rad rock sliders out of that fitness rack. Best part, it's free.
Days later.
We got the top of the rocker cut here. Now we gotta go down on the bottom where the pinch weld is. And I'm just gonna cut along the pinch weld, this outer rocker out, because there's a inner rocker. Here's like the B pillar. So we'll crawl underneath and cut the bottom. Now we can move up to the inner fender on the front here. If you haven't seen that video yet, check that video out right here. We were digging in here a couple weeks ago, kind of to see what we need to do to build these rock sliders. So we cut this little peeky hole over here to see kind of what we got going on. But right now we'll just continue cutting it off because we're committed. So we'll cut all this out here. This is the support for the floor in this rocker. It kind of comes out here. You can see we're rubbing with those 32s. Did the pinch weld trick where you cut this off, you bend them over. But now we're just gonna, I think I'm gonna cut down and then over here. And then I did this on my Cherokee before, where you can kind of keep a lot of this. You can fold it down, and because I think we're in good shape down here. That support piece, I think we can come in here and cut a line and box it back in. Not 100% about that because I've never done rockers on a Liberty before, but that's why you're here. And I'm out here cutting it to make the mistakes before you do and give you some pointers, what worked for me and what might work for you. Let's get to cutting. We got the outer skin peeled off. We got this little mess going on here with the inner fender rocker where it comes together. Got that peeled out. Got the support slit so we can pull this out and cut more of that rocker support out. Well, this is where we're at. We got the B pillar piece cut off. We got the rocker cut all the way underneath the door side on the inside of that rocker. So this baby's about ready to come off. Well, we have done some more cutting on this inner fender. Let's check it out. I cut a seam down here. This kind of sat down before this support bracket. And so I just cut a seam across, kicked the upper inner fender in with a big old sledgehammer, and kicked the bottom up, and just tuck this in for now with a screw. How much space we gained by doing that for the big tire. And once we start building those rock sliders, it'll be a lot easier to clean up that inner fender area. So we got most of the rocker cut out here. We just have to get this bottom piece cut out. This is on the back side and the underside of the floor. So we'll cut that last piece out, and then we will go get those rock sliders that I'm thinking about trying to put on here. In a cheap mod, if it works. So let's get to cutting. If you had a 6-inch angle grinder, this one's a 4.5, but if you had a 6, you would be able to cut into those rockers a lot easier. The problem with a 6-inch angle grinder is they're kind of bulky and they're quite an animal. You almost need, 2 hands on there. So, but they, the disc is bigger, more RPMs, so it does cut through those rockers a lot better. But I'm just using a 4.5 cordless. But I did do this. I bought the Hercules from Harbor Freight. I went with the 5-inch. And it has been helping. As you can see, having a bigger disc in here when you gotta cut up against, the floor, and when we had to get like in here a little bit, this 5-inch helps quite a bit. There we have it. We got that piece cut off. There's a better look of that rocker support. So we'll tie all this in somehow, or cut it out and build some new tubes going out to the rock sliders. Not sure on that one yet, but a lot of it's there. I've done this project on a couple ZJs, those Grand Cherokees, and those rocker supports are pretty much rusted out here in Minnesota. So I've never reused a rocker support, but that doesn't mean we can't maybe tie those rocker supports on this Liberty on the new rock sliders. So let's go grab what we're gonna call rock sliders. So the plan is to put this weight rack as a rock slider on the Liberty. We got it marked. We're gonna go 66 inches, and then maybe cut the tubes off and see if we can make those work as well. If this crazy idea works, it's gonna be a pretty cool mod for this Liberty, and pretty much free. You gotta check out these rock sliders. They couldn't fit any better. Holy Toledo, Batman, those look good. So I measured, they're about 4.5 by 2.5. And they fit in there perfectly. Show you the door seam on the inside. Oh, you wanna see too? Oh, look it. Does it look so nice? Future Jeepster? Huh? Future, what are you? So I believe I'm gonna have to cut these rear supports off. I just don't want to try to tie those in. This is pretty thin. This is a little bit thicker, but I got a patch here. Definitely gonna have to tie this new rock slider into the frame somehow, but I don't want to use this. So that's gotta go. Up here I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna cut this out here and try to tie in here as well. We're gonna cap these ends on the rock sliders, but I wanna put a 45 on here. So let's pull the new rock sliders off, cut a 45 on them, cap them, and we'll cut those supports off. We removed the factory support bracket for those rockers, and it looks good. It turned out real nice. Now we gotta focus on doing the front support. So we'll go up there and do the front. We're gonna just take this support off on this guy here. You know, we kind of cut that up and thought we were gonna reuse it, but let's just remove it. Cross-hatched all the spot welds. Just hammer those spot welds off and remove that bracket. Holy moly. Do I look sweaty? Just out of breath. That was a lot of work to get that support off. It did not want to come off there all those spot welds on there. We did get a little close. That spot weld didn't come free. So then I went into that sheet metal a little bit. So we'll have to putty that up. Now, I gotta finish taking all this off. Clean it up. Buzz it with some paint. And let's get these rock sliders mounted on here. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use for some frame supports. You're gonna question it, but I will prove to you that it works. All right, let's get to this and then get to that. Then this, that, and the other thing. Well, after all that work, that cleaned up pretty well. We got the rock sliders buttoned up. They are 45'd and capped. They're not perfect, but they're good enough. Check them out. Now we have to make some supports and mount them on the frame to the existing, or what's left of that rocker on the Liberty. So let's do that next. Well, we got the seam all welded on the top of that existing rocker in the new rock sliders. There we go. She's all burned in. Now we'll just put some seam sealer on there, and that will look pretty. We'll paint it with that rock guard spray, or undercoating, most people call it. So those will no longer be gray. We'll put the undercoating on there, which is black. Let me show you what I'm thinking about for the support on these rock sliders. You can tell already, right now they are a little wobbly, so they do move a little bit. But once we tie the support into the frame, we'll strengthen this up quite a bit. This turned out pretty nice, how well that looks. So we're gonna use some angle iron right down there. I have used angle iron on rock sliders before, and you wouldn't think it would be strong enough. You would think you need some like 2x4. I was actually thinking about getting some 1x4 or 1x2 to tie those in, but the 1x1 angle iron was free, so we're gonna go with that. So here we go. Get some angle iron. We'll tie those to the rock sliders. So like I said before, I have done the angle iron before on rock sliders. I did that on the Goldie project, which is our ZJ. I cut up those Nerf bars or steps. I think it was off a F-150, and chopped those up and made rock sliders out of them. And I used the angle iron on there. And if it holds up on the ZJ, because that is a wheeler rock crawler, that vehicle and those rock sliders have hit some big rocks. So that would be a testament of that angle iron working to tie in those rock sliders. Well, we have cut the angle iron for the new supports for these rock sliders. They couldn't fit any better. Let's check it out. Look at that. Here's where the old support was. And this, actually, it was further back here. So we're just gonna put the new one here and it'll tie right into the new rock slider. So we'll put 4 of these support braces in. We'll clean them up as they're painted so they don't weld very well. So we'll clean these up, clean the rock slider up a little bit, burn these in on the frame to the rock slider, and we are nearing completion on this project. I put that first support in, and as I was telling you earlier, once you add these supports to the rock slider, you know, it doesn't seem much because it's just the angle iron, but remember I showed you how wobbly it was before? Check this out. So we just added 1 brace in there for now, the support. I was telling you how this was, you know, pretty wiggly. Just with that 1 support in there, it doesn't move at all. That's crazy if you just add that 1 support, how much better supported that rock slider is. All right, I gotta get to welding. So I'll weld these in. I'll put that undercoating on there, show you the final results, and then give you my opinion on this whole project. Well, we did it. We made free rock sliders on the Jeep Liberty. I understand that not all of you guys are going to be able to do the free mod like we did on the Liberty, building those rock sliders, but I want to let you know that you can also do the same thing by going to your local steel distributor and get some 2x6, 3/16, or if you want to go a little higher like I did, 2x4 would also work. So my final thoughts on the project, I love them. That free rack set, that weight rack set, couldn't have worked any better. I like the round corners on it. It really came together when we capped the ends and did the 45s on each end by the wheel openings. So that's a wrap on this video. Let me know if you guys want to see those bars on the side of those rock sliders. Actually, that's kind of what sold me, was to chop those bars up and make those a step or a rub rail on the side of those rock sliders. But after installing the rock sliders, just that 2x4, I love the clean look of those rock sliders on the Liberty. So comment below if you want to see me cut up those tubes, those steps, rub rails, whatever you want to call them, if you would like to see those on this Liberty. If I get enough comments below, I'll go ahead and mod those tubes to mount on the rock sliders. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.